Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. You won't believe the massive trouble I went through to record this episode. It was truly magnanimous. Simply because when I tried to activate the Conquest and War mod, I discovered that it was incompatible with the completed campaign save file. So I had to start anew, and here we are. I've cheated some stations in. The integrative URV forge is here, and I finished the arms tech supply. So that should be good. So yeah, we only have these two stations and no ships. We also don't have the Tyrannus anymore, because hey, this is a new save file and all is well. I actually forgot to tell my defense officer to be very hostile to hostile ships. Let's see here. There we go. Cool. So both of these stations are fully decked out, but if we take a look at the arms tech supply here, we don't actually have anything in storage, so we can't produce anything. And if we take a look at the things we will be needing to produce some of these stuff, like warheads and I don't know, missiles and scanning, we need microchips, quantum tubes and silicon wafers, as well as cut crystals, which are all things that we don't produce ourselves. Now, silicon wafers and cut crystals will be produced in DeVries now that the Conquest and War mod is activated. And that is because the Conquest and War mod triggers a couple of events that makes the Canterans build some stations, which is nice. But when it comes to the other things, we don't produce it at all. So we are going to be having to look at some stations that can produce microchips and quantum tubes. And we're probably going to have to build some infrastructure to support all of that. But I guess I'll just show you the stations that DeVries are going to be building soon. They should be building them here in Fervid Corona, I think this place is called. No, in Scorched Aura. So if we just wait around here, we should see some of these ships starting to pop in. And there's actually one more station. There are 3 stations that are going to be built here in this area. And then there is one that is going to be built in... Let's see if we can't find it. In the shipyard area. Let's just fly in here. Let's see if it's started yet. It usually takes some time to trigger, but should happen pretty soon. There should be a construction vessel coming in this area and starting to build a construction shop, which is nice. But I guess while we wait for our stations to become operational and the Canterans to build their sectors, I can show you around the galaxy. And let's have a look at the things that have changed. So if we go to Maelstrom now, you remember Sigma sector. It was a very empty sector with only a single station in it. And that was this station here, which is the Valley Plantation, Forge Plantation. I don't really remember. Oh my good lord. Sky Meadows. I cannot talk today. You just have to excuse me on that. However, in this sector we have an entirely new faction. Well, not entirely new, but expanded to be a actually functioning faction. You can see one of their ships to my right there. So there you can see the stations. So the Heretic Vanguard, if you can remember those from the campaign, they were barely mentioned as raiders that raid food supplies from the Argon government. They have gotten their own economy now. And I've made myself an enemy to them, because in the Conquest and War mod you start off as neutral to them, but I thought that in the name of consistency I would be an enemy to them. And we're not done here. The Xenon have also gotten their own system. Well, they had their own system, but now it's also an actual functioning economy. So if we fly through, let's see here, this highway, I believe, and let's speed things up. There's nothing different here. Let's continue deeper into the system. So the Xenon will actually expand now. They will be an actual threat, and that's cool, because I think they will be something like the last boss. Now to my upper left, as you can see there, oh, we actually have a battle going on here between the Heretic Vanguard and the Xenon. Cool! Let's actually just enjoy this for a second before we continue with our tour. So we have a lot of Xenon small ships, a Heretic Vanguard mining ship that just got destroyed, and a Heretic Vanguard battle cruiser. And I'm being shot at, so we're gonna have to leave. Alright, but up here, you can see the Xenon shipyard. This was not here before, and it is a fantastically cool station. Let's just see if there's anything else that's new here. So let's continue on with our tour of the Xenon sector. Let's see here. So I see no stations here, just some battleships. Let's continue further into the sector. Oh, I think someone just got home. Give me a second and I'll just close the doors and stuff. Alright, and we're back, just to ensure there are no disturbing disruptions, or whatever you would like to call them. So, let's continue with our tour of the Xenon system. I don't see any stations here either? Maybe. I actually haven't checked if in this mod they get some new stations in Turidi, because they do have some stations in Turidi in the vanilla game. Interesting. Oh, it seems like the Heretic Vanguard is here as well, with their Chimera battlecruiser. Cool. So let's actually, since we were in the process of discovering things, let's take a look at whether or not they have some new stations in the Turidi system. So let's go here first. Let's see here. Well, I do see a station over here, but I think this was in the vanilla game as well.
Entries for Home of Light, Turidi, and Cold Star added. Article.
So let's see here. Let's just really quickly do reveal galaxy stations information. So we're gonna freeze up for a moment. I just want to see whether or not this station has some new production modules, because I think in the base game it produces nothing. There we go.
to ship computer database.
Cool. So let's just back off until they can't shoot me anymore. That might take some time. Okay, there we go. So let's go to zone map and details. And you do have production modules, but you only produce antimatter cells.
Incoming missile.
And you actually need food rations to produce it. That's funny because the Xenon are machines. They don't really need food. So that's strange. But oh well. Let's see, where else did they have any stations? I think they had someone in like number 12 here. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a station right there. So let's go for zone map and the Xenon matrix details. You also only produce antimatter cells using food rations. Oh, good lord. Interesting. Interesting. What if we take a look at the stations we saw here? What do they produce? Can I not look at details? Well, you have Xenon apparatus, and they only produce antimatter cells, I guess. And you have a medium shipyard. Interesting. And 2 like question marks. Also interesting. What about the capital sector here? You also only have Xenon apparatuses as production modules. What about you? Also only Xenon apparatuses. Do they only use antimatter cells? Is that everything they use? Fascinating. Alright, I guess all they have is Xenon apparatuses. Huh. Well, I can't really remember anything else the mod added, but I guess I can give you a tour of the things that the Lost Sector mod added, so that we know exactly what we're dealing with. So the Lost Sector adds the system Source of Darkness, which has 4 systems in it. 4 sectors in it, whatever. And they are Argon, I guess. So they have Argon technology and all of that stuff. And the texture should be popping in soon. Or maybe I just installed... No, there it is. Wonderful. And the music is actually different in this zone compared to others. So let's just fly over here to one of their stations. I actually really like this mod because it adds actually a ton of stuff. It adds some new ships. It adds not only for the new faction here, like this one, which is a hull freighter or a freighter, which has a ton of weapons, which I like. But it also adds some new ships for existing factions, like the split system I showed you. Oh no, that footage got deleted because I had crashes. Oh well, maybe I'll show you. Yeah, I can show you that now. Anyway, so this adds 4 very different sectors, I guess, to the... No, actually 5 different sectors. 1 new system, 5 different sectors. 4 of which are in the new system, and 1 of which is the split system. So let's go over there now, just to show you guys. And it's Severed Limbs. And let's go to the shipyard, I guess. Oakley dokley, so here we are. So this is the split system. As you can see, this is their capital station, which is a unique station. Let's see if we can actually get some information on it, what it's producing and stuff. So it's the Rye IQ Bastion, and it's producing food off of energy cells, meat, spices, and wheat. That seems normal enough. No, actually, usually you would need water as well. So this is actually a unique production module because it doesn't need any water. Cool. And it's also producing water? Spices? It's producing spices from energy cells and water. So the station itself need water. Cool. We have... Oh, so it's only producing spices and food. Cool. And it has a radar. Alright. And let's see what ships we can buy from the shipyard here. Just to take a look at the new ships. We have the large ships. So there is an executor here, which seems to be a rather fast, but weakly armored. Yeah, it's quite weak in terms of armor and very weak in terms of weaponry. So it's an anti-fighter ship, it looks like. And then we have some mining ships here. And for the extra large ships, we have the Gangrene Chaser, which we have already taken a look at, and the Patriarch as a trading ship. And it seems to be a very fast, actually, and decently sized and decently armored trading ship. Wow. Might actually consider buying this. Alright, so that's the split sector. Let's get a nice kind of cinematic thing going here. So this is the Patriarch, I think. The trading ship. As you can see, it's basically just a Gangrene Chaser with storage modules slapped on top of it. That's cool enough. Alright. I think that's quite enough sightseeing for one episode. And we seem to be having some ruthless raiders. I think this is a new faction added by the Lost Sectors mod. A pirate faction. Cool. Oakley dokley. So let's get back to De Vries. And let's see how our stations are doing in terms of starting production and stuff. There we go. So let's go for property, and it seems like none of the production has started, but we have started to fill up our stock on stuff. Let's actually check the URV forge first. So what do you have and what do you lack? Probably a lot of Invidium and Silicon. This isn't enough to start production. And also crystals. But we should be getting that pretty soon. If we take a look at the ships here, you can see that these are starting to collect both crystals and Invidium. Invidium and Silicon, good. And we have Invidium here, we have Invidium there. Invidium and Silicon. Nothing? Oh, these are the trading ships that I assigned to it. So we should start seeing production kicking up pretty soon. But before that, I am actually going to jump on over to the Heart of Albion main system, which is here, and I guess it's here. And we're gonna get ourselves a certificate to acknowledge that we are part of the, I guess, Heart of Albion Navy. So let's go to Trader here. And Trader, License Broker, Trade With. And let's just buy all of these. So that we can produce and ship everything we want to. And we also get a pop-up, a message, if you will, when the Heart of Albion is attacking stuff. So we can choose, of course, so we can choose whether or not to help them out. Because in the short term, we will gain from Heart of Albion's gains, simply because we will be able to sell more stuff to both Heart of Albion and De Vries. So now we got a mission that I want to complete. We did this in the last episode, but since I had to start a new save file, we have to go through this again. Alright, cool. Let's just jump back and forth through the gate just to, you know, trigger the mission correctly. Let's get into Home of Light. There we are. Just try and do this as quick as possible. There we go. Let's go to Turidi. And we're in the highway. So, what I would like to do to begin with in this conquest is to build up a functioning, self-sustaining economy. So pretty soon we will start producing energy producing stations and foodstuff supplies and all that, just to, you know, get us started, and then some more high-tech stuff. Probably actually gonna start with some high-tech stuff, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, so we're here in Turidi, and we should be getting the pop-up pretty soon, hopefully, maybe. There we are. Fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, so the Fed Helm is actually taking damage. That will be you and you. You are being attacked. Well, let's, where were you at? Crimson Rocks, Bleak Pebble. Crimson Rocks, Bleak Pebble. So one of the problems, or I guess difficulties with the Conquest and War mod is that your ships are actually vulnerable. They can be destroyed, they can be damaged, and if you don't have the correct protection on them, they are definitely going to die. So we're gonna have to be very active before we get ourselves a functioning fleet. Ah, and there is a thing that I forgot to do. Let's just destroy these ships. There we go. And that is to give the message that the plot stations should be built. So now there are a couple of more stations that have been built, and that is good for us. So did you lose any miners? You did not. Very good. You're actually gathering ore right now. Great. You know, what I love about this game is that everything is in real time. You know, mining ships go out, they get the ore, they go back to the station, which then converts that ore to functioning stuff like refined metals or drones or, you know, whatever. And I find that really awesome, really cool. Which is, I guess, the reason I like this game. There's so little bullshit, if we can call it that. There are, of course there is spawn-in, of course there is. But, it just seems like it's a living galaxy, and I like that. So let's now actually fly over to the place where the stations should have been built. And let's take a look at whether or not they actually have been built. See, so they should be just over these highways here. Should be here. Alright, so the construction vessels have arrived. Let's speed up the time and let's see where they start construction. So what they should be constructing is 2 metalworks yards. That is probably these 2. And 1 crystal supplier, which is actually going to produce cut crystals, which is very good for us. There we have 1 stopping. Oh, no. I misjudged. I am sorry. It is my fault. But if memory serves me correctly, there's actually a station that is supposed to be built down here as well. Maybe I'm just remembering wrong. I might be. So it's these 3 stations and 1 construction shop right by the shipyard. Oh, we have a collision here. It seems like both of these were ordered to build the same station. Very interesting. Have they actually combined into one? You can barely see that they are 2, but they have indeed merged. Alright, let's jump out of here. Let's just boost out of here, actually. There are sometimes bugs when you make the engine render commands, because that's basically what it does. It's a huge math equation going in the background, and you slap some animations on top. So when you force the animations to play while the math is going, you sometimes get weird results. Ah, and here is the construction shop. Let's just take a look at this. Yeah, there it is. The construction shop. And you are producing what? Zone map. And construction shop. And, of course, reinforced metal plating. So the metalworks yard that is going to be built in Scorched Aura is going to produce refined metals and chemical compounds, while the crystal supplier is going to produce Invidium cubes, and food rations and energy cells are already being supplied. What we want to focus on is, first of all, a high-tech fab, so that we can supply our own weapons manufacturer, the Arms Tech Supply, with microchips and quantum tubes. That is what we're not producing at the moment. We also actually want to build another integrative URV forge. And that is because we are at the moment not producing enough biooptic wiring, fusion reactors, or refined metals. Reinforced metal plating, I can't really remember the name. But we want another one of these. In addition to that, we want to, if we go back to the construction shop here, we want to produce these secondary resources because they are currently not being produced anywhere in Jevries. So if we can get a monopoly on secondary resources, these are universal for almost all stations, we will be raking in a metric shit ton of cash. And it goes without saying that we actually want that. So, we have our work cut out for us. So I think the first thing we are going to do is we are going to be teleporting ourselves over to Albion and Far Out. And having a little chat with the capital shipyard here. And I think we want to start with the high-tech fab. Yeah, I definitely think we want to start with the high-tech fab. No, before that, I actually want to take a look at what is actually required to produce. Let's see here. Stuff like microchips. See here, microchips, who sells them? At Ascendancy Forlorn Armory. Ascendancy Forlorn Armory. Ascendancy Forlorn Armory. There we go. So, let's take a look at this one. And we want to take a look at microchips. And okay, so silicon wafers. Why are we being shot? Huh. Oakley dokley if you want to do it. Alright, so there we go. So we needed, what was it? Zone map and microchips. We need refined metals. We are already producing that from our integrative URV forge. And silicon wafers. Who produces silicon wafers? And Invidium cubes. Alright. So Invidium cubes is already being produced in the Reese, so we don't have to worry about that for the quantum tubes. But the silicon wafers. Let's take a look at trade offers again. Silicon wafers. Silicon wafers. And we have Albion Lookout Alpha Rexwell. Lookout Alpha Rexwell. Lookout Alpha Rexwell. Alright, so let's go into zone map. And we have the metalworks yard. Is that right? Recharge? No, it's this one. Okay, so metalworks yard. Yeah, they are also producing that in the Reese. So let's get back to the Reese. And while we're at it, let's order up a ship from Albion. Far Out. Here, let's communicate with you. And let's order a ship. We want to change this to about 10, I suppose. Or 11, that's fine. And this one we want to have around 36, I guess.
Alright, we have sufficient. Are you really sure that you want that ship built? Once we start, that's it.
There we go. So, now that it's building, I guess we can turn our attention back to here. Are you actually producing anything? You are. You are producing refined materials and bio-optic wiring. Very good. And we do have some more storage. We still lack crystals to be producing, I guess, this one? Yeah, it's lacking crystals. Is any of these ships carrying crystals at the moment? You are. So let's hail you. Let's make you transfer all these things. Very good. Sometimes you just have to manually do stuff. Just the way it is. Alright, I'm gonna let the economy go ahead and stabilize itself. And then I'll start recording again. But I think that will be the episode for now. Thank you for watching.